All right, we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome back, family. Let's get it. Welcome to the Your Perspective Matters podcast, where we are focused on uncomfortable conversations. Why? Because I truly believe that uncomfortability breeds growth. Now, on today, I want to speak about something very, very important. And I'm going to speak on the first half of the title of this podcast episode, which is Dream Bigger. Dream Bigger. And I personally believe, especially with the experience that I've been around, understanding that dream, not just to have a dream, because there's one thing where people are just not dreaming at all, right? But if you have a dream, I need you to up it, right? I need us to up the scale. Now, the reason why this is important to me, and I truly feel like it's uncomfortable with many people, especially myself, is the thing that you are doing. Oftentimes, you are very much comfortable, and what is it? Uncomfortability breeds growth. So if you want to stay where you are at, right, you're not going to be able to grow. And in my life, and I'm just going to always talk about this, getting in the rooms allowed me to dream big. Getting in the rooms allowed me to be able to say, you know what, I want to, not even I want to, but I understand what vision is. I understand what my vision for my life is. I understand what God's vision and purpose is for my life. If you are focusing on not being able to up the scale, then guess what? You're going to live a life of mediocrity. And I just can't do that, right? I serve a God that's tremendously great, one that allows me to flow in who I am, and He leverages who I am for the greater good. So on today, I want to speak to the person or the people, right, that mm, I want to speak to that person that is not dreaming big. Like, there's so many people that are okay with what they are doing. And I this is critical because there was somebody that was talking about money, and they was like, you know what, I'm okay with basically the money that they're making right now. And I truly believe that we will always become comfortable with with the amount of money that we've had, or excuse me, the amount of money that we are exposed to, right? That is critical. Because number one, it's experience, right? That talks about experience. You have to be able to experience it in order for you to say, hey, I want this. But on the flip side of that is the awareness part, where, okay, maybe I have never experienced it for myself, but I've seen it for and from other people. And that's where getting in the rooms for me changed my life. Being able to be amongst people that thought bigger, that dreamed bigger, that even when it comes down to the outfits, even when it comes down to the scents that you wear in the rooms, the way you speak, like this is the rooms that I pray that you guys are able to enter and walk into confidently. You don't have to feel judged. You don't have to feel insecure when you go in a room. You don't have to to compete with other people. I need you to understand, if you can be yourself, that room is going to accept you for who you are and for what you come with. And I knew that being in these rooms, it allowed me to understand one thing, and that's value. When you learn to consistently become a valuable person, entering these rooms is not that hard. It's not. Because just imagine you are doing great. Let's just say you're a well-known speaker, or not even a well-known speaker, but you can speak well. And you get into a room that have a whole bunch of speakers. You will become very much intimidated because it's a lot of other forces out there. It's a lot of other monumental pieces, and you're not the only one. But the fact of the matter is, nobody is like you. There is a specific gift that is within your voice. There's a specific gift that is within your thought process. There is a specific gift with the way that you put things together that will always stand out. But you have to, number one, see that value within yourself. And if you do not see that value within yourself, I need you to get around some people that believe in you more than you believe in yourself. Because once you get to that level, now when you are running low, guess what happens? You can borrow that confidence. You can borrow that faith from the person that believes in you more than you believe in yourself. Now, it's going to be challenging for me to even think about a time where I thought of myself as not just not valuable, but not understanding my value. And I know that it's just been a very long time, right? I've been on this entrepreneurial journey. I've been on this faith walk for quite some time of my life. So, and personal development was heavily, or what they say, high key. It was high key a part of my life, and I had to understand. I'm not gonna say I was forced to. I definitely chose this path for sure, but it was more so of me being able to flow properly, for better words, right? Um, to flow in a way where I was able to ease into it, right? Because it wasn't. I wasn't aware of what I was doing in the beginning, but when I start to be aware, that was when I intentionally started to be a part of the rooms. But that was before I even entered the room. I understood, hey, I need to understand my value, because then you are no longer intimidated. Then you are no longer scared, or you walk in fear entering the room. Sometimes getting in the room with other great people causes you to say, I'm going to exit. I don't want to be there. I need to leave now. Right? Now when we come to this topic of dreaming bigger, right? The title of it completely is, if you dream bigger, it allows you to live a lot sooner. Man, that hit my soul just now. Wow. I need to read that again. If you dream bigger, it allows you to live a lot sooner. There's some people that are walking zombies. We are walking dead. There are some people that are living in fear. Oh, man. And fear is the only thing, or the main thing rather, that's stopping you from everything that you imagine. Literally. Like, there's so many things in my life specifically where I was fearful of, but the moment I stood up to the task and done the work, I was like, I'm scared of this? What? Like, for an example, driving. Man, oh man. I was okay with watching other people drive. I wanted to drive for sure, but I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to, put it in reverse or change the gear. None of that. I was just too fearful. And does it take a rocket science for you to learn these things? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It doesn't. So what happened was, I ended up rising to the occasion and saying, you know what? I'm going to schedule my lessons But before I schedule my lessons, I'm going to book a trip. Now, this is what made me very uncomfortable because if I book my trip ahead of time and then I book my lessons to get my license, it applies more pressure for me to get the license because if I don't, my trip is right around the corner. And if I don't get my license, then I can't be able to go on the trip, which means that I have to cancel the trip, which means that I wasted money. And I for sure did not want to waste any money. So I did all of those things. It applied pressure to me. And next thing you know, I got my license. But it doesn't stop there because I was still fearful, right? So as I got into my first rental and I start to drive, I've never been a person where I never had the experience of, number one, driving fully with one hand and using my other hand as a GPS. I am a righty, but because I've started driving with my left, my dominant hand for driving is my left hand, which is so crazy. If I use my right, I'm not super confident in steering that. But if I use my left, I'm super confident. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because as I started to um as I started to drive, and I'm in the city, I'm in New York, right? I'm in Manhattan. It was super busy. It was I think it was the weekend if I'm not mistaken. I had to first drive up to what is that? I had to drive upstate basically to pick up my cousin. So as I'm driving, I'm telling myself, hey, if you do not drive well, you will die. And I know that's extreme. And everybody don't got to be as extreme as I am. But specifically when it came to driving, I had to tell myself, hey, if you mess up, you will drive. You will die. That was critical for me, and that lit the fire under my behind. And now guess what? I'm driving with confidence, and I was able to drive all. It was my first 2 hour drive that I've ever done, and it was solo, and it was following the GPS, which I've never done before, and I was able to do it with ease and drive right back because I had to go back to New York because my cousin was staying with me during that time because we was actually going to Alabama to visit my mom, but that was it was a whole experience. It was a whole experience. And then part two of that, right? I'm a fast forward. We end up in Alabama, and um, even though I passed the driving test for parking, I still wasn't super confident with parking. And my other fear with driving wasn't only just driving, it was going into a like a parking lot or what you call it basically a parking lot or whatnot, something very super tight where you just gotta drive your car and park right into a spot, but it's super packed and it's like all the cars are there and there's a line of cars behind you. I would be nervous. Like my fear is that I'm gonna hit a car. But when I tell you I went down there, we drove. We was in Alabama for like 2 days, and then I said let's drive to the mall in Florida. So we drove down all the way down to Florida, and now we get to the mall, and I have to park. I have to conquer this situation. And when I tell you, I handled it with so much ease. I say all that to say, number one, in order to, and if you taking notes, I need you to take this down. In order to dream bigger, you have to get over your fear. You have to get over your fear. If you do not get over your fear, you're going to be stuck where you're at. Therefore, you'll never be able to grow, so you'll be like most people, which is the walking dead. I am a person where because I rise to the occasion and I look for opportunities to go against my fear, I'm always able to live. Have I made millions of dollars yet? No, but I live like it. Am I famous? No, but it feels like I am famous, literally. Everywhere I go, I have people that come up to me and talk to me, and it's just the vibe, it's the energy that I give off. And I promise you, it's only because of the rooms that I step foot in. It's literally. But if I never conquered my fears, I would have never been able to step foot in those rooms, right? Number two, what also allows you to dream big is to just do it, right? I want to say that's the other side to the fear part is not just to be stuck, but to actually be in motion, right? So maybe number two is in order for you to dream bigger, you got to be in motion. You got to be able to be doing and executing some things, being productive. Because if you are not, you will never see the fruits of what that execution is going to give. That's the key to conquering your fear, is doing the work, doing the thing that fear is telling you that you're not able to do. Man, this is good. Like this may be for me. This episode might honestly be for me, and that's totally fine. I'm gonna rock with that because I understood and I understand, or what some people say now, overstand, right? That dreaming bigger is literally the key that has saved my life. It allowed me to live. A part of also me dreaming bigger is the reason why, or not the reason why, but the effects of me dreaming bigger allow me to take more risk. Number three, if you want to dream bigger, you have to take on risk. That is critical because you're going to. This is the thing, right? You're going to encounter and take on a risk regardless. There's a risk if you do. There's a risk if you don't. There's a risk if you stay. There's a risk if you leave. I am so big at taking risks. You can. Let me tell you, if this was like a game of truth or dare or dare double dare, give me the quadruple dare because I'm on it. I'm on it. I am willing to risk it all, but when you risk, you have to also understand not only what's at stake of you losing, but most importantly, what's at stake of you winning. Most people, we get stuck on the losing part. And we're like, you know what? I'm good because I'm going to lose my job. But what will you gain if you lose your job? Oh, I have the freedom to continuously pursue my business. And this goes to somebody right now that calls themselves an entrepreneur that has some sort of business going on, but guess what? You're too scared to take not just a risk, but to bet on yourself. My question to you is at what point in your life are you going to start betting on yourself? We have some people that sports bet, so we're gonna bet in on these sports teams. We're gonna bet on all these different things, but we don't even take into consideration to bet on myself. You showing up to Beyonce concert, or you showing up to somebody's concert or whatever. Even when it comes to the teams, you showing up to these teams is you also betting on them. My question is, when are you gonna keep that same energy? When are you gonna stand on business and stand for yourself? Represent yourself. Take risk and bet on yourself. Literally. I've been able to live in three different states: New York to Houston, Houston to Vegas. I've been able to make well over $10,000 in each one. Is that a significant amount of money? Not at all. But in the amount of time that I was working in these areas, yes, it's major, especially when you have to rebuild yourself, when you have to start from scratch and get some things flowing. It was it was a beautiful thing. I was able to rise to the occasion, and I was able to conquer. This is so good. This is I we don't even need to go any further than this. Like I really want you guys to allow this to sink in, because I I want to speak that you dream bigger so that way you can live bigger. That your dreams don't only just be dreams, but they eventually become reality. That the house that you want is not just a iffy thing; it's a for sure thing. That the cars that you want to drive is not just a maybe I might get a no no no. It's I'm going to get it because I'm going to live my life to the fullest. I declare and decree in your life that you will live your life to the fullest. Family, I'm going to end this right here. I appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening to me on today. If this was something that you felt was uncomfortable, which means that it allowed you to grow, I just want you to leave a comment, and share this with somebody else. And if you haven't as well, I need you to not only just like this, but I absolutely need you to subscribe. I need you to tune in and give us some feedback on some of the episodes, because I want to know what your perspective really is. See you guys on the next episode.